my good friend, my elder brother, His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, to come up here and make a statement.
Well, Professor Gola, you asked us at some stage to smile. And you obviously found it was not easy. Matters before us today are so heavy that we should be forgiven for not smiling at each other. Be that as it may, before I make one or two remarks, I want to give apologies of our other colleagues who are not here, representing the united opposition. Although I see that the website is talking about loyal opposition. I don't know whether the Secretariat can do something about this, so we are all in sync. Bring your greetings from our sister, Mother Karua, who had to travel. I think we should give her a clap because we know she very well represented by our own Secretary General of People's Liberation Party, Asha Bashir. And we have, of course, our other friends, Mheshimiwa Fred Matiang'i. I spoke to him last night. He must have gotten a bit mixed up on the timings, and I know he was going to be with us today. And our other friends, Ricky G, was out there. You know, he's a man in the trenches, Rigathi Gachagua. So we are all together. Men and women who have also known injustice. Because I think Rigathi Gachagua should also appear before you like Robert Mbui. And I remember I was out of the country when Robert Mbui reported in trying to welcome Baba, he broke his leg. And you remember the story that time was we were on our journey to Canaan. But we got to River Jordan and there were crocodiles. I think I've managed to give you a smile. So Robert Mbui was bitten by a crocodile. Listening to what has happened to our country, honestly and sincerely, if we don't take action now, we might end up with no country. And so, ufungamano, you may not know, it's so historic. This ufungamano who gave us the Constitution. Both men and women from the churches, from the civil society, were able to be bold enough. That's how we ended up getting rid of Article 2A of the Constitution. We amended the Constitution, create Article 2A, allowing for pluralism in our country, which is now under threat. And so it is to Fungamano we have come today to tell William Ruto, you said we have no agenda. Well, we have one clear agenda today, and that is justice for Kenyans. Now follow suit. You have been told this is not the first commission of its type world over. Look at Brazil. In fact, a bishop was funded to start a People's Commission. This People's Commission is not an act in vanity, or indeed acting in vain. Look at the quality of his leadership. Justin Biden, I've heard of a new name, Biden, Muturi, JB. That's why the B comes from, the JB. And you give us a name of my landed friend here, my brother, Eugene. The name was it aflatoxin? No. Something along those lines. I'm trying to give you a smile, at least. And so, agenda number one, the work of this commission, I think is not even time-bound, because we are talking about the next administration. What you are telling William Ruto is our agenda item number one, will be justice for Rex Masai and justice for all those young Kenyans who have been failed by police bullets simply because they exercise their constitutional rights under Article 37. And now we pray to God that if you have a heart not of stone but of flesh, you don't kill them again tomorrow. Don't kill them. We are telling William Ruto, don't kill these young people tomorrow, because the world is watching. We want to thank the international community. They have come out with a very clear statement. Kenya is not an island nation. It is one nation among the community of nations. We will not allow you, therefore, to get away scot-free. As we speak, at least by the time I got here, I had information that 4,500 goons were meeting in City Hall, preparing to go and murder and maim and kill the framers of Constitution 2010 under Article 1 on the sovereignty of the people. Never envisioned that so many years, 15 years down the line, there'll be men meeting in Taifa Hall somewhere under the chief goon, who I think is the one preparing them to come and do other things. This commission is so bold. You cannot actually terrorize any of these four people. Justin Muturi and your team, you have your work cut out. When we talk about state capture, we mean it. Kenyans are still waiting to hear fertilizer fake. And the Andani deals continue. Economic sabotage, economic manipulation, which actually, as we speak, is part of Shashi. We will have to go deep into those things so that as we form the next government, we will know what to do with those economic saboteurs. Well, Philip Kishia, Philip, I heard you loud and clear. By the way, the 4,500 goons are joined by 5,000 police officers. All right? And they're even planning to exchange uniform with the goons. What they're actually trying to do is to make sure that Goon A knows how Goon B will look like tomorrow. Shame on you. Shame on you. So we are watching, and the country is watching. All the parents want, and Kenyans, because mtoto akizaliwa sio baba yake ama mama yake peke yake. Mtoto ni wa jamii. Watoto wa jamii ya Kenya, wazazi wa watoto wa Kenya, jamii zote wanadai haki kwa watoto wao, ambao tumeona hapa. Bob, you remember we even tried to catch up with you at some stage. We caught up, we tried, we went to court, we've tried. We tried action, but this is real action. Real action. And so, please feel free to come out before these very competent men and women who are there to make sure justice is done. And this commission, therefore, is a precursor to the pursuit of justice for every Kenyan under Constitution 2010. I, therefore, would want to really conclude my remarks because they're brief. We've been given the wherewithal and what exactly we want to do. Tomorrow, we're going to sit and see. Let there be peaceful demonstrations. Let there be peaceful demonstrations. Kenyans will remember that we were actually bold and said tomorrow is a public holiday. If anybody was doubting, William Ruto has himself confirmed that tomorrow is a public holiday. In honor of our young Kenyans. And I can't understand, truly, I would take a lot of convincing by people who are with us in the struggle for justice. In 2023, Raila Odinga and I and Eugene and Mother were nearly killed. 60 young Kenyans were failed. And 2024, young people did better than us. They breached the Central Business District. How can we disown those young people for pecuniary gain, for money. It can't be for fame. It can only be for infamy. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very difficult moment. I've seen Minister Murkomen saying they are willing now to meet with the parents or the victims. The victims, they are willing. They are willing one day to the commemoration day. Who can take you seriously? I think this commissioner will ensure that not only justice, but compensation. We demand compensation now for every victim. Compensation now, and it's not a favor. In fact, you should let the names come quickly before you, Justin, and your team. You should be the ones to administer. Who can trust these people? Who can trust them? The trust deficit is so enormous that nobody can trust them. They say, no, we're prepared to discuss, to listen to the parents. Where have you been? Justice delayed is justice denied. So a very famous English jurist mentioned that time, Lord Denning. You delay justice, you've denied justice to Kenyans. And therefore, we will stand in solidarity. Long live Kenya, long live this commission. You know, they will not sleep. They have been found out. Because this is not a joke. And so we'll be calling them out as we go. Of course, we have other issues to deal with. Even look at the corruption in the housing, so-called affordable housing. Unveil it. In fact, that is the easiest thing. That's what we are always saying, the next administration, executive order number 1, do away with housing tax. And of course, as we do so, you'll be on their tails. You'll be holding them. You'll be holding them. Messed up education system. How can we have a country where Kenyans don't know how they're waking up tomorrow? And we saw them, representatives of the suffering people of this land. But God will shine. The sun will rise tomorrow, and we shall go and lay the wreaths in remembrance of these children. We've given notice. We given adequate notice. Wakili Ndegwa Njiru, you remember we asked him to do it. Notice to the police. And now, if you're in charge of, we thought the Green Army was well meant. Kumbe is Sakaja's Green Army, creating Haiti-like gangs. We will not allow Kenya to go the Haiti way. It will not happen. We will get you out first. God bless you. And ask my brother Eugene Wamala to come and say, make his few remarks, even as we now launch the People's Restorative Justice Commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I'm not going to try and ask for any smiles. I am normally one politician who likes smiling, but not today. My heart is really heavy listening to the parents and the victims of the extrajudicial killings of this regime, the abductions, the torture, Bob Njagi and the Gitengela 3, and your colleagues. We know the trauma you went through, and it's a year. Tomorrow we'll be marking that day. And I listened to the father of Shakil at the All Saints Cathedral. We listened to the mother of the youngest victims of them all. He was only 12 years, Kennedy Onyango. This boy was shot in Rongai. His little body took many bullets. And when the president was asked about the boy, he said, the boy is alive, right? Kennedy Onyango's story was very moving at the All Saints Cathedral, and many others, Denzel Mondi's parents, and all those who are suffering A year later, no justice, no compensation. And it reminds me of one of the poets, Jonathan Carriara. He wrote a poem and he called it Grass Will Grow. And it was a poem by a parent mourning the loss of a child. They said, Lord, if you have taken my child away, then give me strength to dig his grave. And Lord, send me a little rain, for grass will grow. But he said, Lord, do not send me madness. I ask for tears, but do not send me moon-hard madness to put a snag in my skull. It's as if Jonathan Carriara was one of the parents here. One of the parents whose children had bullets lodged in their skulls, had their brains splattered on the people's house in Parliament and on the streets. They did not aim at the legs or the arms to disable. They aimed at the head. They splashed their brains and they killed them. A year later, no justice. Those who went out in 2023 during the Azimio protests, 75 young people were killed. One was Brian in Nyalenda with his brother. They were beaten, dragged out of their homes and killed. Just like Brian, who was killed, I think it was the Sultan Hamoud went with His Excellency to bury the young Brian. We cannot forget these young people. They've been waiting for justice for 2 years. But do you expect justice from the Ruto regime? Do you expect justice from the Ruto regime? A regime that will pick a young man, Albert Ojwang, from Homa Bay, bring him to Nairobi, less than a kilometer from where we sit, Central Police Station, they murdered the young man. Then they said he had committed suicide, that he banged his head on the wall until he died. Can you believe such a regime? A regime that shot young people in Kitengela, Charles Owino, Shaquille and his colleagues. Then they hide the bodies and say, these were car accident victims from Juja, and they cover up. We've heard today from Shaquille's parents. They tried to cover up, but they went and found out what had happened. Can you trust a regime like that to do justice? If they were covering up, the police bullets, if they had not been found lodged in the heads of these young people, we would never have known their story. And that is why today I want to thank, I don't know where Ben is, and the young people, the brains behind this organization. We salute you and we salute all the courageous young people who through their brilliant ideas such as this, and through their rage, backed by their courage, who came out to face this ignoble regime. Today we also thank J.B. Muturi and this team for accepting to take the onerous task, because it is not easy. And just starting from what we have heard here, there are many Kenyans whose stories are still untold, who would want to come up and open up and speak and let their stories be heard, because this government will always try to cover up the truth. But through a system that we are setting up, truth will come out and justice will be done. And even if it's not done by this regime, as your incoming government, we want to give you our word, justice will be done. So the work you'll be doing is not just academic work. From what you're doing in the next 12 or 15 or so months, we have no doubt from every corner of Kenya, we have heard Kenyans speaking loud and clear that this regime will be a one-term regime. And if it's a one-term regime, it means it's a regime that has less than 2 years. By the time this commission completes its work, we will be ready under the new regime to implement the work that you are going to be doing. And we will, because one thing we have said as the People's United Opposition, there are 3 things we are seeking. Unity, liberation of this country from this corrupt, bloodletting regime. But the last thing we must do is restore our country and its lost glory. And the process of restoration starts with plans such as this, because justice cannot be done by this regime. We need to restore hope by the people of this republic in our key institutions, the judiciary, parliament that has been captured. There's completely loss of faith in this parliament because it was captured. So today, even as we launch this commission on the restoration of justice, we want to say we must learn from our lessons. I was the Minister of Justice in the Kibaki regime, and when I took over that ministry, the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission had been paralyzed. There was an attempt to abort that commission, the Kiplagat, Ambassador Kiplagat Commission. We were able to work around the clock to get the TJRC Commission to complete its work, to compile its report, and to submit this report to the President, Mwai Kibaki, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, and Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I was a member of the 10th Parliament, and J.B. Muturi is right, because after that report was presented, in the 11th Parliament, some things happened that actually made sure that report was never implemented. These are some of the steps we must take outside the regime that is unwilling to do justice, and through such innovative means, we will be able to achieve it. We are hearing a president give an empty apology, a conditional apology to the GenZs. And that president does not want to face the truth. I've heard him today talk about peace and security and tell the police of Kenya he's 100% behind them. He has confidence in them. You do recall a year ago, after the GenZ killings, that same president came out and said there was a gang of dangerous criminals who wanted to overthrow his government. And he said the police did a commendable job. He congratulated the police for the killings and the work they did, killing our young Kenyans. A year later, on the eve of the commemoration, he has today at State House hosted the same police and commended them for the good work they're doing. And he has told them he's 100% behind them. To me, this president has given the signal to the police to do tomorrow what they did best on the 25th of June last year. He unleashed the police on the people. He unleashed the military on the people. Today, as we speak, we've heard from His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. Over 4,000 goons have been hired. How desperate can you be, Banaruto? Shame on you. Shame on you. That you can unleash the rogue police on your citizens. Even deploy the military against your citizens. A year later, KDF stands deployed against the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Anywhere within this republic today, William Ruto, because of the parliament that's under capture, has a blank check to deploy the military against any citizen in any of our 47 counties. God forbid if Bwana Ruto, you want to use the military tomorrow. If you want to use the police in the manner you used them last year. And if you and your teams want to deploy goons against these children, all we are asking as Jonathan Carriera said, is that, Lord, give us the strength. Give the parents the strength to come out tomorrow and mourn their children. To come out and have the strength to lay flowers at the gates of Parliament, to commemorate their children. And in this endeavor, as the People's United Opposition, we will stand with you, the families, the victims. We will work with you tomorrow. And we're asking the police to do what they are supposed to do constitutionally. Don't criminalize protests, demonstrations that are rights guaranteed by Article 37 of our Constitution. Your work is to escort and provide security for the demonstrators. It is not to shoot and to kill innocent, unarmed protesters. So tomorrow the world will be watching. We appreciate and welcome the strong statement by the international community. All the diplomats have said to Bwana Ruto, demonstrations are guaranteed by your constitution. Allow Kenyans to protest peacefully tomorrow. As the People's United Opposition, we ask all of you who come out tomorrow to do so peacefully. Don't come armed. Do it in the same style the GenZs did it. If anything, just your phone and a flag of Kenya, as they did it. Anyone who comes out armed with any machetes, know that he's not one of us. He's one of the 4,000 goons, state-sponsored goons. And the people dealt with them last time. I'm sure you who has been given 500 shillings to come tomorrow to rough up the protesters, you will meet your fate. You will meet your fate. Let me not say more than that. I just want to thank you once more and to say congratulations, JB, and to say you are one of the victims. Your son was abducted. When you lead this commission, you are doing it on behalf of many parents who felt your pain, who felt your pinch. May we ensure that justice remains our shield and defender. And apart from Parliament, I had Maandamano say that if you are in the United States and you said you are going to march on the White House, you would be arrested from your house and picked. And people are not allowed to demonstrate to the White House. I don't know which United States Murkomen went to school, I don't know. But if you're in Washington, you will know that even as we speak, there are demonstrations outside the White House. When Trump gave an order to strike Iran, there are many Kenyans who have marched on Washington from across the states who do not support the war, who want to see peace in the Middle East. Which White House are you talking about, Bwana Murkomen? There are people demonstrating outside the White House. This is the people's house. And so is our state house here. Even if you keep wasting time renovating, and that house does not belong to William Ruto. That house belongs to the people of Kenya. And if they choose to march there and lay flowers outside the gate, it is their house, they're entitled to do so. Stop this fear-mongering, Bwana Ruto, with your cronies. If we choose to go to the People's House Parliament tomorrow, as we shall, with Kalonzo Musyoka, with Bwana Matiang'i, with Rigijik, and all those of you who wish to come and stand in solidarity, Bwana Mbui, you are our leader in that house. Come out and meet us and receive our flowers and receive the families who have the right to come and honor their heroes and commemorate with their children. May God bless us tomorrow as we march in solidarity with the GenZs. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Excellencies. At this point in time, may I invite my brother P.S. Dorome to pass a vote of thanks, and then followed by 2 quick prayers. Tafadhali. And after that, we'll have a group photo of the victims, the chairman, the commission, and the political leaders.
The oath of office. Eunice. As we wait, Bernard, is there any form of entertainment? Very serious business. We can garnish it with a bit of serious entertainment. Hello? Hello? Anyway, back to serious business. I've just been reminded that Eunice Lumilas is not just an advocate, but she's a commissioner of oath.
Chairman and party leader DAP party, members of Jubilee Party, members of Parliament present, the clergy, and all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you and welcome you for this event, and allow me to take this opportunity to congratulate
I, Justin Million Joka Muturi, have been appointed as Commissioner of the People's Restorative Justice Commission, do swear that I will be true and faithful to the best of my ability and power in the execution of the trust committed to my charge in the service of the people of Kenya in the People's Restorative Justice Commission. I pledge to uphold the principles of justice, equity, and transparency, and act with integrity, impartiality, and independence. I shall place the interests of the people of Kenya above personal or political gain, and ensure that every voice is heard, particularly those for the young, the elderly, the underprivileged, and historically silenced. I will safeguard the truth, protect human dignity, and uphold the mandates of this commission with courage and honesty. In all my actions, I will be guided by our shared humanity and accountable to the people of the Republic of Kenya and the law. So help me God.
Next, we'll have Senator
I, Daniel Kitonga Manzo, having been appointed as a Commissioner of the People's Restoration Justice Commission, do affirm and swear that I will be true and faithful to the best of my ability and power in the execution of the trust committed to my charge in the service of the people of Kenya in the People's Restoration Justice Commission. I pledge to uphold the principles of justice, equity, and transparency, and act with integrity, impartiality, and independence. I shall place the interests of the people of Kenya above personal or political gain and ensure that every voice is heard, particularly those for the young, the elderly, the underprivileged, and historically silenced. I will safeguard the truth, protect human dignity, and uphold the mandate of the Commission with courage and honesty. In all my actions, I will be guided by our shared humanity and accountable to the people of Kenya and the law. So help me God.
Congratulations. Next, we have Dr. Fred Ogola.
I, Frederick Onyango Ogola, having been appointed as a commissioner of the People's Restorative Justice Commission, do affirm, swear that I will be true and faithful to the best of my ability and power in the execution of the trust committed to my charge in the service of the peoples of Kenya in the People's Restorative Justice Commission. I pledge to uphold the principles of justice, equity, and transparency, and act with integrity, impartiality, and independence. I shall place the interests of the people of Kenya above personal or political gain and ensure that every voice is heard, and particularly those for the young, the elderly, the underprivileged, and historically silenced. I will safeguard the of this commission with courage and honesty, and all my actions I will be guided by our shared humanity. God.
Finally, we have Asha Bashir.
I, Asha Bashir, having been appointed as a commissioner of the People's Restorative Justice Commission, do affirm that I will be true and faithful to the best of my ability and power in the execution of the trust committed to my charge in the service of the people of Kenya in the People's Restorative Justice Commission. I pledge to uphold the principles of justice, equity, and transparency, and act with integrity, impartiality, and independence. I shall place the interests of the people of Kenya above personal or political gain and ensure that every voice is heard, particularly those for the young, the elderly, and the underprivileged and historically silenced. I will safeguard the truth, protect human dignity, and uphold the mandate of this commission with courage and honesty in all my actions. I will be guided by our shared humanity and accountable to the people of Kenya and the law. So help me God.
Thank you very much, Wakili Eunice Lumelas and Advocate Njiru. Now, with the permission, allow me to call back Wakili to come and give you the legal basis, because some of you think that this is just a ceremony where we've met and it holds no water. It is actually anchored in our constitution. So, Wakili.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate the new commissioners and just to give the legal basis upon which this commission is premised. This is a commission that has been created as a result of necessity. It has been created as a result of the inability of the state actors to enact and or to execute their expected functions. Therefore, this commission, and I know there will be a speaker who will give the terms of reference, is first of all premised on a preamble to the Constitution. The preamble of a constitution appreciates the supremacy of this of God. It further appreciates the aspects of our aspirations, that we are a nation that aspires to be guided by the rule of law, the doctrine of constitutionalism, equity, and social justice. In the circumstances, the question of equity, equal justice, equity, equality, freedom or democracy are at great threat. And the institutions that have been created thereto, in accordance with the Constitution, have negated their functions, they have neglected them, they have refused. And of the Republic of Kenya, well represented by the political parties that have constituted this commission, pursuant to Article 1 of the Constitution, they have given unto themselves the ability to. And Article 10 of our Constitution, which lays down the values and the principles of the governance, among them the value of social justice, the value of equity, the value of respect for human rights, the value of sustainable development, and most importantly, the value of a democracy. This commission seeks to appreciate and is premised on the on those particular values. Most importantly, on the question of human dignity. Where we stand as a nation, the question of the human dignity has been transgressed. The excessiveness of the state, the arbitrariness of the state, and the inability of the state to be held to account and to have some transparency in the manner in which it deals with the citizens have necessitated the constitution of this commission. And therefore, this commission is further premised on the principles that are expected of a political party. A political party is not just a political actor. It acts in the space of ensuring that there is equity, there is social justice, there is equality. And therefore, the political parties that have come together to constitute this commission are alive to the fact that they cannot live and they cannot govern in an unjust society. That is the basis upon which this commission has been premised. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakili. Now that we are properly constituted with our commission, once again, okay. Now, before we chairman and other commissioners, will introduce a few of us who are here today. Of course, the chairman and commissioners have introduced, and these are people who are well known: Senator Manzo, Asha, Emeritus Speaker, CS, AG, JB. Now, to introduce members of parliament who are here, may I call upon Mheshimiwa Mbui just to introduce the members who are here. Tafadhali. Makofi kwa
Thank you very much, Dr. Philip Kisia. Let me begin by also congratulating the commissioners, chair, and your team. And I want to confirm that I'll be coming before you myself. I'm a victim of police brutality. In 2017, for those who don't know, in 2017, my leg was broken. I still walk with a pin from my knee all the way to my ankle on my left leg. And that was just because I attended a demonstration under Article 37 of our Constitution. Up to today, no single apology has been given to me. Of course, no compensation. And the person who shot me is still probably employed and enjoying the gains, the benefits of being in office. And I think those are some of the problems that Kenyans are going through. So I'll be coming before you to present my case. But I've been told to introduce the members of parliament who are here. I can see 2 members that are here. I've been told to just mention their names, but with all due respect, because there are only 2, I request that they just come up here and say their names. Honorable Mawade, Honorable Mule, for a minute, please.
Thank you very much, leader. The leaders who are here, Honorable Kalonzo, Honorable Amalwa, Torome. First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the people of Matungulu, on behalf of the Kamba Nation, and on behalf of all the young generation, because I'm a father of the young generation, to congratulate the new commissioners. And I want to believe that justice will be restored. Under your chairmanship, Muturi, who has been my speaker for 10 good years, I want to assure Kenyans, the new chapter in Kenya begins today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the action. Tomorrow will be the action. And I want to believe tomorrow these commissioners must be protected by the police to collect evidence of coonism and police brutality. And that is the Kenya we are taking. And I want to put it very clear to Kenyans. We are serious to restore the glory of a great country called Kenya, not through the back door, not through broad-based, blood-based handshake, through the Constitution of Kenya. And we are being given those details by our able lawyer. So I want to assure you, commissioners, we members of parliament of like-minded will be behind you, and if possibly, very soon, we should look in a way to bring taxpayers' money to make sure that you are well taken care of, to restore the dignity of this country. God bless Kenya. God bless the GenZ. We meet tomorrow. We are not relenting. We are not going back. We are going to lay the flowers and respect those who lost their lives. I want to tell the government, it is not a story. It is not a hearsay. Tomorrow is a D-Day to commemorate our GenZs in Kenya. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon again. My name is Mawade, Member of Parliament, Embakasi South Constituency. And I first and foremost wish to congratulate the commissioners who have been sworn in today. We have a lot of faith in you. We have a lot of faith in your ability, because the restoration of justice in this country is long overdue. And this commission, I am sure and I'm certain that they will do what is just for the restoration of justice, especially for our kids, the Gen Zs and the millennials who have been killed in the last few years. Again, congratulations, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Mine is now to just introduce myself. My name is Robert Mbui, Member of Parliament for Kadhiani constituency. I hold a title of Deputy Leader of the Minority Party. But if you remember, after our youth were killed like dogs in the streets, part of my side, which is the minority side, became part of the majority, became part of government. So I'm now the de facto leader of the minority party in the National Assembly, representing the youth that were killed brutally by
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Excellencies, led by the 10th Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, CS Eugene Wamalwa, Chairman, my friend Thorome, President Kibaki. That's the only government we can remember. The others, I don't know. I can't talk about the rest. But he was a PS. I think, no, he was a PS during Uhuru's time. But to introduce our principals who are here today.
Thank you very much, the moderator, my friend Philip Kisia. His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, party leader, Wiper Democratic Party, the Honorable Eugene Ludovic Wamalwa, party leader, Democratic Action Party, my good friend, the chairman of the Jubilee Party, Mr. Saitoti Torome, honorable members of parliament here present, the great lady who administered the oath, Eunice Lumalas, assisted by Council Dewanjiru. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My colleagues in the United Opposition sat and agreed that there's too much trauma that has happened, too many atrocities that have been committed, that we explore ways of addressing various issues that be there for this country. I will be calling on them to make their statements at an appropriate time because we will not be long ourselves. Safe to introduce this subject. Council Ndewanjiru has given the constitutional anchor upon which this commission, PRJC, is posited. But I also want to observe that in all societies, emerging from a history of oppression and gross human rights violations, face the challenge of reconciling their past. This is not new. It has happened in various parts of the world. A people-led commission seeking to restore justice among its citizens. And I want to appreciate that here in Kenya, we've had some numerous attempts to will not be having references to such in our constitution. Memories about the events of the last few weeks, this month indeed, last week, the week before. Is it possible for the parents, relatives, and friends of those that were brazenly gunned down by policemen to accept and move on? The various efforts that we've seen, including prosecutions, are done in such a way that you can tell
from the start that they are designed to flop, leaving families and communities with long-lasting bitterness. Indeed, you leave families, communities, neighbors traumatized. We are all quite aware that after the madness of 2007, 2008, post-election violence, there was born the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. It was anchored on an act of parliament. But I don't know whether my two friends, Honorable Robert Mbue and Honorable Mule, would remember that actually during the 11th Parliament, government moved an amendment to the TJRC Act, which for all intents and purposes made that TJRC report nearly unenforceable against anybody, known or indeed against government. Yet, during the TJRC report, it has documented various historical injustices committed to individuals, families, communities. So, the trauma persists. So we've asked ourselves the question, for how long shall this continue? Yet, we have an acclaimed constitution that is so robust in its provisions in the Bill of Rights, which is chapter 4. How are those victims, their relatives, friends, and communities to receive justice? How are we to restore justice to those people, to those communities? It's for that reason that proceeding on the authority, as explained by Council Dewanjiru, we've taken it upon ourselves and the leadership, and we want to invite Kenyans to appreciate that the authority granted to us is derived from Article 1 of the Constitution. Our approach and core values will adopt a restorative justice framework rooted in the African values of Ubuntu. And this approach prioritizes restoration of dignity to victims and survivors. The approach also aims to rebuild individuals, families, and communities, and indeed the nation. For we can talk about economic growth, but what does it mean to the mother whose child was taken more than a year ago without trace and has not received any answer as to whether the son is alive or dead? You can have the SGR, you can extend it to wherever, even the DRC. But that mother, that father, that brother, that sister will still remain with pain
approach aims at trying to rebuild those families and communities, and in the process, build a more caring nation. In the process, we will seek to establish the truth, Mheshimiwa Mbue, and see whether we can bring some healing and some form of closure. And then, where necessary, bring in forgiveness and reconciliation. We also aim through this commission to put to an end this impunity that we have witnessed in this country by embracing the principle of never again. Never again. By also putting memorializing, and through remembrance. We also aim to create mechanisms to support healing. And through our partners, seek to do compensation and restoration for victims, survivors, and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I was merely to introduce, because we will be doing a lot more, but for the avoidance of doubt, if it is not on the screen, Ben, is it on the screen? I wish to announce, since we intend to hit the road running, that we've set up a website for ease of engagement with the public, through which we will receive petitions, representations, and other material, whether anonymously or otherwise. Other programs will be announced by, I don't know whether is it on the, it's there? Very well, thank you very much. Other programs which we intend to undertake will be communicated by the other colleagues with whom we've taken the oath of office, because we intend to hit the stage running. So that was merely to give you the approach that we intend to use. You'll be given staff relating to how we intend to address the culture of impunity, how we intend to carry out investigations and preserve evidence. There will be measures which will be interim, and I wish to assure Kenyans that whatever they give us is so secure. We should not worry about certain mischievous activities that we have seen in recent times from government trying to interfere with things that are done in all spheres of governance. But we will not be limited to merely human rights violations. We intend to also deal with issues that relate to state capture as well as institutional corruption. And I just want to give some small example here as I sit, that in the 8th Parliament, some effort was made, led by the Honorable Musikari Kombo. Of course, when, as you all know, KANU was whitewashed, that report, which had what we used to call the list of shame. When KANU was whitewashed by NAC in the elections of 2002, the efforts led by the Honorable Musikari Kombo gave rise to two very key pieces of legislation that are still in force today in Kenya, but very, very sparingly used. One, of course, we know because we have the EACC, they always pretend to be doing this or the other. But there's a key governance legislation that came out of that effort. The Public Officer Ethics Act, number 3 of 2003, alongside the Economic Crimes, Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, the ASECA. We intend to give effect to these laws because we believe if everybody inculcated what is and practiced what is in the Public Officer Ethics Act, we would see very little institutional failure brought about by endemic corruption in this country. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the moderator to call the next commissioner. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Another round of applause for the chairperson. Thank you very much. Now, this function for today has been put together by a very young man called Ben. So if anybody ever imagined that the millennials, the Gen Zs and the Alphas are not ready to take over the reins of this country, you are in dreamland. They are ready. So Ben, please, just come so that people can recognize you. Ben, and then of course, this Ben. So the success behind today's function is this young man. And of course, he received guidance from the back office. I know I've caught you unawares, but it's important that people know. Just stand up from wherever you are. I know you don't want to be seen, but just stand up and wave. Just stand and wave. You can even cover your face, but stand and wave. We recognize you. So there was a team behind this young man who have put this function together. So thank you, Ben. We appreciate you, and God bless you. Let me now call upon 3 commissioners to make their statements very short, not more than 5 minutes each. And to start us off is Commissioner Aisha, followed by Professor Ogola, and we'll close that session with Senator Manzo. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, The Excellency Eugene Wamalwa, Chairman Jubilee, Saitoti, all elected leaders, Wakenya wenzangu, hamjamboni. Mine is to say today is an important day in this country because this country we've lived with burying the truth and running away from our past. Since independence, we've faced a lot of challenges, massacres, police brutality, corruption, a lot of pain. But we run away because we want to move on, and we want to assume that every time we will create a solution, the solution has never come. Kenyans are each and every day crying because of injustice, whether economic, whether legal, in terms of now what is happening from human rights to health to education. It's still an injustice. We are where we are as a country because of the culture of move on. And today we want to say we cannot move on because healing as a country is important. We cannot heal when, since independence, there's a lot of historical injustice, and even now it is coming through a new formation of abduction and killings. Today is an important day because we, the people of Kenya, are saying enough is enough, and I'm urging all Kenyans that this is not about today and tomorrow, it's about the future of this country, and that for once as a country, we will not run away from the atrocities that are happening, and we will not say, move on. Today is an important day because it is the Kenyans who every day wake up to work and build a nation despite being wounded. Mental health is at the highest as a country. You cannot talk about education and health and other things when a woman is missing her child at home and she does not know what that child did. We have a crumbling police docket that instead of protecting Kenyans, they're the ones going for Kenyans. We are now degenerating to now having people hiring goons to come and attack another Kenyan. But you're forgetting that it can be your child you're attacking. It can be a sister or a brother. We are forgetting that these things continue to remain a scar. I personally recently lost my beloved father, and it doesn't happen on a normal occasion. For mine, it was a natural cause, but I can imagine you never understand the pain until you sit at the front seat. So there are millions of Kenyans since independence who've lost loved ones, and up to date, you're told move on. Up to date, there's been never a solution towards historical injustices. And if this generation that I am in, we keep quiet, we will also be blamed 5 years, 10 years, because we will have kept quiet at a time that we were supposed to give a solution to our motherland. Today I request Kenyans, this commission seated here is more than willing to work with all Kenyans from all walks of world. It is for you to help us by sharing through the website. Soon the chairman will announce more other platforms so that you can share videos, you can share petitions to enable us work. Today we are saying we will not sit and be quiet as our country goes to a different trajectory that we did not envision. We want a country where we are not suffering from mental health. We want a country where equality is there. And we want a country that no one is above the law. Because if you commit a crime, that is where there is judiciary. We also pray that institutions will not be caught up with corruption, intimidation, and that we will not have a corrupt judiciary, a corrupt police force, and other institutions that are key in this country. We are simply saying that today marks the start, that we will move as a country to accept we will not bury the truth, to also accept we need healing and restoration, but most importantly, there are people who must be held accountable individually for what they've done to our motherland. Because Kenya is me and you. Today, I want to say that it marks the beginning of a journey that as a country, we must not relent and we must not accept to continue the way we have been by covering what has been happening. Generations have come and gone. It is time for this generation to say enough is enough. We will not only investigate historical injustices, but even the current. But it is the people of Kenya who will share that information to enable us continue as a commission and work towards restoration and building a prosperous motherland that we call Kenya. Kenya ni home, asanteni sana.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to recognize the leadership from the United Opposition, led by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, and the commissioners led by very able chair, Honorable Justin Muturi. I want to say that there is no better day than this in Kenya. And Chair, had we done this on the eve of 25th last year, we could not be where we are now as a nation. So I'm looking at the audience and look so serious. Some of you have not seen someone smile at them the whole of the day. Please, can you smile at your neighbor at least to... Somebody might receive a smile or to get a chance to smile today at all. Because we look like we are mourning, but I'm sure there's hope. Chair, as we said, never again. The word never again is important. Allow me to say that the commission is quite interesting to me because when you saw Bishop Orwa praying, Bishop Orwa, I remember the day there's a child who died in Kibra, in that river, and there was money for the so-called disaster response. There was no response. And I went to Kibra and made the sign of the cross, and I walked with people from Kibra without looking for police notice. We walked up to the Senate and met Senator Manzo. Senator Manzo, without appointment, welcomed us and gave some support. Nowadays, we don't say what they gave. They'll say themselves. He gave some support to the family, but took us through the offices, but still we didn't get the money. So I am standing here, people calling him the people's economist. That's how people are suffering. Because I want to speak just on economic injustice in Kenya. I want to say that economic crime is a problem everywhere in the world. But in Kenya, it's not just a problem. It is now a profound crisis. Crisis. You know, a problem is there. But when a crisis comes in, it's more serious. It has now posed existential risk to our nationhood. It is systematically diverting vital resources that should be used to bring good life to people, education and health. But not only that, it's also being used, economic crime is being to suppress. Imagine someone takes money from you, then uses the money to suppress you with the very money. When I hear my brother John Badi, that he's an expert, and he has increased budget, then tell you, you can't enjoy education or you can't enjoy healthcare without security. Yet, someone goes to Homa Bay, picked, then brought to Nairobi and killed. So, to really grow this economy. Secondly, the youth. These youths are very intelligent. Why they are dying is because of what they have between their ears. They are too. The only thing one can do is to hit their head to death. And I was in the mortuary with my brother, late Albert Ojuang. They were hitting his head until they broke the skull to his brain. Why? The one who died on the street, to the brain. What is wrong with them targeting the brain? Why university education then killing people? So these are what I call economic crimes. And what I'm trying to say is that I want a dream of a world when youth will be so free that they can survive without someone's support. Because what is happening in Kenya, you must know somebody or worship somebody to become somebody. I'm sure young people, you can't accept this. I remember when I grew up, when I was in St. Mary's here at some point, when I came to the village, I went to say hi to my uncle who was high ranking. Then he told me, I am a son of nobody, so I can't talk to him because he's a son of somebody. So for us young people, I'm not very young, but I think I'm youngful or youthful. They say when you know nobody, you are a son of nobody, you know nobody, so you become nobody. This is what they want in Kenya, and I'm having the leadership of the chair. We will try to fight that. The economic crimes have made it difficult for the business community to do business because you have to know somebody and sing them. you have to sing them, unless you become professionally handicapped. If you look at the guys singing the current administration, they are very intelligent. But if they don't sing the current administration, their professionalism is useless. I'm sure we don't want to have that world. And our country is slowly gliding into hopelessness. GenZ says, the fear is gone. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen? Dignity, human rights, constitutionalism, and the rights is what is. Only one who has nothing to lose loses fear. A rich man cannot sleep outside a house on the street because they have something to lose. So after being ripped of your all economic benefits, ripped of dignity, ripped of lives, what do you fear? You fear nothing. So when you hear young people saying the fear is gone, means we've taken everything from them. And that's why we need to restore. So the People's Restorative Justice Commission is here to restore hope. With time, we shall give you reason to hope again. The worst thing to be without is hope. Without hope, who can wake up? Tell me, if you don't have whether you can wake up. You have no hope there's be. Even there's this meeting. Well, how would you come here if there's no hope? So we want to ensure that victims will receive long-term support through a dedicated restorative justice fund. I was making a joke with my brother, Danson Manzo. When now MPs go to parliament and MPs are here, they want all kinds of funds. But funds to support people like Ojuan, they want it to be in donation. That must change under this leadership. Serious economic crimes, looting, sabotage, and state capture will be investigated and be prosecuted under the leadership of this commission. Recovered assets will support victims and rebuild our economy. We will also have to ensure we memorize these struggles so future generations to come will know the cost of injustice and vow what our chair says, never again. We'll even ask the public to take an oath, probably, that never again. Everyone might have to take this oath, Chair, as you said in our meetings, never again. We will make economic crimes so painful, but not profitable like it is now. And I go back again to my brother, expert, John Mbadi, who says that he's proposing a way on which if you steal money from Kenya, you can invest the money in Kenya, making theft profitable. We will make it completely painful. That's what we want to bring across. So that of John Mbadi, we call it in economics, wisdom of fools, because used to steal from him, then give him back. That's the only fool thing that we call it thoughtless experts. I'm about to finish, so don't be bored. Every action will show Kenyans that there will be real reforms. Truth and justice is finally underway, fellow Kenyans. The commission wants to take Kenya back to Kenyans because at the moment, Kenya is not in the hands of Kenyans. You don't feel that you are in your country. We have a dream that the Kenyan media will be full of conversations inviting people to come and see Kenyan miracle. We talk about the Singapore miracle. We don't have a miracle? You mean Jesus never came to Kenya? Or maybe there's no Muhammad here? Pastor Orwa has prayed, isn't it? Do you mean God did not come when he prayed? Sheikh has prayed, God didn't come? We want people to talk about Kenyan miracle, not Kenyans discussing about the Singapore miracle. We want the business community to find it easier to come to invest in Kenya because the law will be transparent, just, and fair. The taxation system must be good, fair. We'll enjoy participating in their professionalism. I can tell you a story. I was a professor in Strathmore for 12 years, and when I said that the bottom-up economic model will bring down Kenya, the president said that if I continue being in Strathmore, he's not the president. And he's the president, I'm not in Strathmore now. A professional voice is suppressed. When you speak like a professional, they call you a politician or an activist. In the US, professors speak in Harvard and they are respected. In Kenya, an economist has to keep quiet. And I'm sure, Chair, if you talk to the people you work with, you tell them, can you come to the commission and present? They say, yeah, I don't want to be seen. And these are professionals. Our Wakili Eunice, many people could have not accepted to take this oath because they don't want to do their professional work for fear of being abducted or maybe just being suppressed. So youths will get back the urge to work in their country, to holiday in their country, and to retire here instead of kazi maju. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya has everything it gets. We have to be truthful and honest with each other. We have to bring justice, and we have to ensure that every child born today, when you see your child being born, you must see hope on their faces because they'll be secured. They'll be under leadership where you don't have to look back and forth, so that there's no calling on WhatsApp, no signals. Just call with your number and speak freely the way telephones came. Once more, let me just acknowledge that we even have a lady who has come all the way from Kilifi, Chair, because he saw this thing. I don't know how she saw it, that she's called Mama Delila, because she believes that justice for Coast Province, land, they have even had a land minister who cannot do the work because they fear the system. So for us, we want you to decide, do you want to work for the system? Working for the system means working how they are working. Or do you want to work on the system? Working on the system means improving a little bit what is happening, isn't it? But for us...
Thank you, Your Excellencies. Let me thank Kenyans for appointing me into this very important commission. And I want to talk about, very briefly, about state capture of public institutions. This has happened into the ministries. It has happened with the serious organizations like ESCC, the Kenya Police. It has also happened in the courts, such that know who killed Rex Masai, why he was killed, and that after pushing the government to have many years to ever, get the culprits face the law. If you are to go through other injustices committed to other people through the same way, will be able to process it so that the DPP, which is another captured office, can utilize it if it finds viable. If it doesn't do so, then we can pursue private prosecution with this information and make sure that justice is done to the victims. This sort of commissions in Rwanda and many parts of the country if you look it through the Google. And to deal with this, we really want to make sure that we like at least the current regime does not want to deal with them. So we want immediate relief for the victims. So that relief is not negotiable. One is given back their dignity and they are compensated. And you can even petition The concern has even offered, counseling services to them, and we can recommend, and we can even get volunteers to do this for the people. There is also a confidential, hotline, so that we can receive information for those who don't want to come out publicly, and also protect whistleblowers, so that the witnesses are protected in accordance with the current law. And then there is international action, can be pursued. Justice cannot be, where justice cannot be secured locally. We have international courts which can deal with some of these issues, and therefore that's why we are doing this. And to crown this, I want to call upon a few victims who may have come here. There is a Mr. George Obiege. Please come to the podium. Mr. George Obiege's son was killed in one of the demonstrations. He, together with his wife and other family members, have looked around and they have not, gotten any justice. We are Bob Jaggi. Bob Jaggi, you can come. Any other victim who could be around, and I've not mentioned you, I know there's a Mr. Muteti. Mr. Muteti, if you could also come forward. These are that Kenyans can know what happened to your son.
Sorry, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Up. I wasn't sure very well if he was the one who was shot dead, because on the news there was nothing like that. So the next day, not even the next day, the very, very night, nowadays, they don't allow any victim of police brutality or anybody who has been killed through a mob justice or police. It's because we don't want this thing to be known at first, because it was very sensitive. Were accident victims. Then I told him, bring the first accident victim that was brought, I see. So the first one was brought. I recognized from through the print media that was one of the guys who was shot dead. Then I told him, this is not the one. Bring the second body. So when the second body was brought, because I was not, I had to open the jumper that he was putting on. So when I checked, he used to love Manchester United. So he had a t-shirt from Manchester United inside. So then I told my cousin, this is Shakil. So from there, when the guy was still doing other things, I happened to see the registry. For us, one thing for sure was kulikuwa na kitu fani. The boy, when we saw him first, he was drenched in blood. And the other guy, and even the clothes had been cleaned, the blood was cleaned up. Then I told the guys who were doing the postmortem report, the Haki Africa was there, Human Rights Commission was there, IPOA was there. So the postmortem was done, and it was truly established that the boy died from gunshot wounds inflicted by a police officer within Kitengela under the That was it. So we have been following up with the IPOA. The IPOA took the report from me. They wrote a statement from me. But from then until now, not arrangements except for the friends, families, and colleagues whom I work with. Haki Africa also contributed a lot. Munyahera on 3rd of August 2024. Until now, no phone call, no nothing. I've not even seen any government representative, not even one.
Much, Paula. These are the injustices. Please be seated, the two of you. These are the injustices we want to deal with. Now, we've got to be very brief with the rest of the young people. Explain briefly what happened to you.
All protocols observed. Good evening. My name is Billy Mwangi, the young man who got abducted in Embu County on 21st of December last year. And I was taken when I was and taken to a place that I don't know, where I was receiving beatings every day on my back. Given little food that kinda intoxicated.